Hello and welcome to the calculator guide video on finding the value of the first and second derivatives of a function on a Casio fx-CG50. Let's take a look at the question. We're given that y equals 9 over x squared plus 3x squared plus 2, and we have to find the value of dy by dx, the first derivative, and d2y by dx squared, the second derivative, when x equals 3, and we're going to use the CG50 to help us out with this. So from the main menu, select 1, Run Matrix, and you can see straight away that you have an option here, Math, from the menu already displayed. So if you press F4, and you can see that there's two options here, d by dx and d2 by dx squared. They are the features to find the first and second derivatives. So let's start with the first. If you press F4, you can see that's brought up d by dx, find the first derivative of, and then it's whatever function that you write inside the blue brackets or blue parentheses that you've got here. So first job is to carefully input our function. So 9 over x squared plus 3x squared plus 2. Now once you've got that inputted, navigate right, you can see there's an entry for x equals. So this is our value for when x equals 3. So we need to input 3 here, 3, and then press execute, and we've got 52 over 3. So that's our value. Let's move on to the second derivative. So it's f5, and you can see it's set up in a very similar fashion. We've got the blue brackets parentheses there. Now, to save us from having to type out that function again, what we're going to make use of is the calculator's clip and copy feature, and basically copy it from where we wrote it in the first derivative. If you navigate back up to the d by dx entry, and if you go just after where you inputted the function, so after the 2, before the right bracket, hopefully you can see where the cursor is there, what you need to do is you need to press Shift and 8. You can see clip is written above the 8 there, so Shift and clip, and what should happen is if you have a look at the top line between the battery sign and the math symbol, there is a little green symbol. Looks like it's duplicating a copy, and that's what we want. So when this is activated, what you need to do is to navigate either left or right. In this case we're on the right hand side, so navigate left with the arrows, and it should start highlighting what we want to copy. So go all the way across to the other end of the function, so just after the left hand bracket there, and we want to copy this. And you can see here that F1 means we can copy that. We won't bother cutting. If we cut it, it would just delete it as well. So we just want to copy this at this stage. So F1, that should be copied. So if we navigate back down now to in between the blue brackets for the second derivative, and this time we want to paste. And you can see that that is Shift 9. You can see paste written up here. Shift 9 to paste, copy and paste. And there we've got the same function in the second derivative. Very useful feature that, especially if we have a long function. This isn't too bad, but it might be an even longer function. So copy and paste, definitely very useful to transfer that there. There might be other ways of doing this. Comment below if you know of a quicker way to get the same function from the first derivative to the second derivative, but this is pretty quick, so it's not too bad. Navigate right once again, and this time we want to make sure that we've got our value of 3 in there for x. Press execute, and here we have the value of our second derivative, 20 over 3. Right, moving on to our second example now. It's exactly the same process, so if you wanted to have a go at this yourself, pause the video now and have a go at finding the first and second derivative. The only slight difference that we have here is that we have this in function notation. We have an fx, and we need to find f dash and f double dash of x. So still the first and second derivative, just the notation slightly different. So pause now if you want to have a go yourself, and I'll come back then with the solutions afterwards. Okay, so first job is to press d by dx, and we want to type out our function in the brackets or parentheses. I've sped the video up here, but you take your time to input that correctly. And then once you're done, navigate right to the x entry, and we want to put in a value of x equals 9. So function in, x equals 9, press execute, and this time it's given us a decimal answer, which is fine, maybe that's what you want. If you don't want a decimal answer at this point, if the answer can be displayed as a fraction, we can go back. If you press up, highlight that, and if you press SD, then it can give us that as a fraction. So 71/6, or it could be 11.83 recurring, just depends on how you want the answer there. And then the second derivative, similar sort of process, F5 for second derivative. Again, navigate back to the end, so just after the 2x, and then Shift and 8 to start the process, and then left to highlight your function there. Incidentally, you can, if you want to, navigate to the left hand side, say just before the 2 square root x, engage the Shift and clip, and then navigate right to highlight it from the right hand side there. It's just ever so slightly quicker, just by the way that I'd navigated back to after the 2x to go from there, but that will work as well. So it can work either direction, just make sure that you're at either end of your function before you highlight it. So once it's highlighted, F1 to copy, scroll back down, we want to be in between the blue brackets there, and it's Shift and 9 for paste. We've copied our function. This one's maybe even slightly more complex than the first one, slightly longer if we had to input it again. Navigate right, x equals 9, execute. And we've got the decimal answer there, maybe that's what you want, but if it can be displayed as a fraction, navigate back up, SD, and it's 79/108. So there you go, how you can find the value of the first and second derivatives of a function when you have a particular value of x on a Casio fx-CG50. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos, but that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time on the Calculator Guide.